Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another great episode of The Big Show, hosted by myself, Jimmy Smith. As you guys have probably noticed, very unorthodox episode of today's Big Show. This one here is coming to you live from where it all began in Dad Talk Today studio in the great state of Georgia. I don't know if many of you guys have seen some of the past episodes that we talked about getting together for a really quick guys trip where we all kind of come together for about a small week and make our way over to Georgia where Eric Carroll lives and get out there and do a little guys camaraderie, guys hunting trip. And that's what we're doing. So for the first time ever, me personally, I've been able to see where the great studio begun, and right here where it all kind of started. I even got to see where in some of the very, very beginning episodes of Eric
kitchen,
where he did it in the kitchen. So I got to see the spot where, he did it in the kitchen and of course right out here in the Dad Talk Today studio. So you're getting a very uncut, dressed down version of the Big Show. Usually I'm in a little bit more formal attire, but I hope you guys don't mind. What we decided to do is we decided to kind of get together and recorded just some a la carte thoughts, some a la carte, things that guys kind of get together and do. And, I talk a lot about, guys getting together and being a sounding board for each other. Talking about past, present, and future things with guys. I don't think as men we do enough of that. And that's kind of what this week really was about, is just kind of some friends getting together, talking a little bit of business, but mostly just kind of sharpening the saw and getting out there and trying to find a few deer to hunt. And
I feel like we're missing somebody though, dude. I mean, we had this men's get together and I could have swore there was more than just me and you here.
Yeah, there was. Dwayne was out here somewhere. I don't know where he went, but yeah, Dwayne is out here. He's with us. Did you see something?
No.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, Dwayne's out here somewhere. I don't know where he's at. He's kind of hard to see, but
I think I smell him.
I smell him too.
I heard a fart.
It smells like a combination of like Doritos and like bad choices.
Body odor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Axe body spray and Doritos.
Almost smell a hairy chest. You know what I mean? It's too much masculinity for me, dude.
Yeah, he's radiating it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we try to get him on the episode, but I don't know where the guy is. Is there a floating gun behind me?
What up?
You can see me?
Yeah.
Oh, I brought my camo. Oh,
everybody! In case you haven't noticed,
Oh.
he's probably very hard to see because he's all countryed up right now. But Dwayne Ward has joined the podcast, so that's what Dwayne looks whenever. Yeah, he's dry humping behind me. I think very uncomfortable right now. I feel very
man. I hope
very
the ladies
uncomfortable.
are watching. I don't know how they could resist that.
I don't know, but
They're like salivating.
I feel like I need the morning after pill right now after that. But welcome. I'm glad to see you finally made it.
yeah. Like, when did you guys see me?
Right on time.
I mean,
always.
dude, it took a while. I think I smelled you first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing for me.
You smell
So
like
I'm curious, man. I haven't got to talk about this yet. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I got to meet Jimmy for the first time.
that's right.
You know how sometimes you meet somebody, and let's just be honest. You've known him for a while, but it's your first time meeting. You don't know what to expect out of him, right? You was exactly what I thought. There was nothing different. And I would say the same thing for Dwayne. But I'm curious, what was you guys' reactions of each other when you finally got to meet? You're meeting each other for the first time.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be bigger.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
He's heard that before.
Yes.
that's where I was going. It's like,
Mostly in the bedroom, I hear that.
Oh, yeah. We're getting started.
yeah, no, I know it's great. It's like, obviously we had the online friendship for quite a while.
Yeah.
Of course, doing the Big Show and all that. But yeah, that was our first time meeting. And it was like, walked in and I was like, wow, that's what a real man looks like.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And then the mirror reflection hit me. And I was like, oh.
You were looking back at yourself.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a very big foreboding figure, if I can use that.
Foreboding.
He's just
Define
big.
foreboding.
Just big. Just like,
I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable sitting here, dude.
I'll take that.
I had I was like
I feel like we're closer now.
I was flush. I was very flush.
Was you?
That's why I was sweating. I was like, oh my god.
It's the first time I've ever been called foreboding.
Foreboding.
I have
Foreboding.
to look that up because I don't know if that's
I don't-
the right word.
I don't think that's a real word if we were playing Scrabble.
Probably not.
I mean, I've heard it before.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it fit in the context.
I'm gonna
But
use
if
it.
Dwayne says it does,
You
I'm,
know,
I'm going with it.
I got a like Timu or what's that website where you buy off brand like a Wish.com.
Yeah, Wish.com.
Wish.com encyclopedia, so they may have messed up some of the words. I don't know.
well, you know what, guys? I just want to say something real quick because I haven't been on the screen as much here lately. It's awesome to have you guys here at Dad Talk Studios, and we've got some good stuff coming up. You know, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. Obviously, you've been seeing us travel around and doing some stuff. We got some stuff planned for you. I'm looking at the beginning of 2024. I think things are going to shake up around here. We need to get some more of these conversations going. We need to get some more content that men can be proud of and feel like they're not being bashed every time they turn on the TV.
Yeah.
It's sad that, unfortunately, in today's climate, that's what we deal with. We was talking about that earlier, man. You know, one of the things I thought we was having a great conversation is, you know, I don't know what it's like. I know what it was like several years back, and I know, Dwayne, you do too, but we kind of live vicariously through Jimmy, hearing what he has to go through in the dating world nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, what's it like being a man dating in 2023?
It's interesting because because dating when I was in my 20s looks a lot different than dating in my 40s, because in my 30s I was married, so I got out of it for a good 15 years, and then when I'm back in it, it's just it's very, very, I don't know. You can tell that women have way more options than they probably need.
Yeah.
Because these women are always talking to multiple men at the same time.
Yeah. And
so you never really feel like you really got their undivided attention. And one thing I've noticed too is that, you know, women will oftentimes complain about when guys is first reach out to them. They'll say simple things like, "Hey, what's up, sexy? Hey, beautiful." Things like that. And I can understand why women don't really care for that low-hanging fruit response.
Hey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
they literally do the exact same thing back to you.
Yep.
Literally. So you'll write a creative response, and then their reply back is LOL, and that's it. They give you nowhere to go on. And you know what's happening. They're just literally going down the plethora of responses from like 15 men and writing, kicking back quick things. So how can a man really ever get the attention of one woman, or even like try to create some sort of a friendship or relationship with a woman when she's talking to 4, 5, 6 guys at once?
Yeah, I agree, man. It's got to be rough. I mean, when you hear this, Dwayne, how long is it you and Brandy have been together?
8 years.
8 years. Was it similar, or do you see it getting a little bit worse with what Jimmy's talking about?
I gotta say worse. I mean, obviously we're not in the same league. I mean, you know,
Right.
I'm like,
You're not foreboding.
I'm not foreboding enough to, yeah. I gotta look that up because now
You're not
that's gonna be a
big.
bad word. Not the right word. I apologize. No, I mean, it was. My issue was that, you know, I was trying to make a connection with a woman, and I still have the old values. Like, I want her to be, well, obviously feminine, not feminism, but feminine. I want her to be respectful. I want her to be intelligent. That I gotta say was one of the biggest issues I was having. These women that I was trying to communicate with, they didn't know what foreboding meant, first off, but they yeah.
No one does.
Apparently neither do I. But
Nobody does.
I wasn't there. They were like, sometimes it was almost like a job interview in a way, like, how much do you make? How much do you have? What are your assets? Sometimes a balance sheet.
Had to give him a resume.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And they were only interested in what they could get, but of course they didn't really offer anything, but they wanted to sleep around. They wanted to do, I say, the things I really wasn't interested in. I wanted to learn who the person was, and they couldn't communicate with me. They had no idea how to communicate or have a conversation, which should be the foundation of a relationship.
But your first thing is like, what do you bring to the table? How much do you make?
Right.
It's crazy, man. I definitely see that going on more and more, and I'm afraid it's just going to continue to go that way. I do believe, I mean, one of the good conversations that we've had, over the past few days is we've got to talk to some of the younger generation, these boys. I have to say, I think they're a lot smarter than we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like they still need to hear this knowledge.
Right.
Obviously, that's what we've been doing is talking, but they didn't get wrapped up as quickly and easily as it doesn't seem. Well, I mean, what do you think?
I thought it was interesting. I never had kids, so I've always kind of dreamed of having these conversations. And Dwayne brought a couple of his children here. There are one's a little bit above 20, one's a little under 20,
Great kids.
and they're really good kids, and they're very smart, intelligent. Dwayne, you did a good job.
You
Thank
did.
you.
And talking to them about women and about the nature of women, it was very interesting. And one thing I really appreciated about your boys was their willingness to learn,
Yeah.
and be open and listen.
Mhm.
They didn't start looking away. They didn't start looking at their phone. I felt that they were really engaged in the conversation, and it made me want to help them more.
I told them you were foreboding, so that
Did you?
They jumped on that. Yeah,
I think they might have picked up on it on their own.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that we see a lot of feminists and just women in general, push back on is the fact that we want a woman to be submissive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bad
what
word.
does submissive mean, Jimmy? In this context, what are we looking for in a submissive woman?
We're looking for the biblical term of submission, and
There
what
you
that
go.
basically means is allowing your husband to lead.
Right.
It's not about oppression. It's not about making decisions for her. It's about, at the end of the day, the two of you are going to be at an impasse, and there's going to be a decision that needs to be made for the betterment of the family. And she might be thinking one thing, and you might be thinking the exact opposite. Well, what do you do when you're at an impasse? Someone has to be able to take the lead.
You got a tiebreaker. You got to. I mean, you have to.
This whole notion of 50-50 just doesn't, it sounds good.
It sounds, yeah.
The Hallmark Channel.
It sounds good on the Hallmark Channel, and all women want that. But women are not bringing enough to make it 50-50. And here's what I mean. I don't mean any disrespect, but here's what I mean. If you ask women, do you want a man who's taller? They'll say, yeah. A man who's more assertive? Yes. A man who makes more money than you? Yes.
More foreboding.
More foreboding than you?
Sure.
They'll be like, absolutely. A man who is a better leader, is more intelligent, more wise. They'll say, yes, 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 yes. Well, that's not an equal.
Right?
That's my point.
Yeah.
You're looking for your superior. You're looking for a man who is a step above where you're at.
Yeah.
Women date up. Men
No,
men date down.
Yeah, we do. That's true.
Does that sound like 50-50 to you? Is a general and a private 50-50?
Well, I think one of the misconceptions is if you say, you want somebody that's biblically submissive, does that mean that she doesn't have a voice at all?
Of course it does not. As a matter of fact, I teach men, any decision that's medium or greater, you have to get the advice and sound off to your woman.
Well,
Yeah.
if you get the right woman, she's going to approach it from a perspective that you don't know about. Like, again, women are more emotional, men are more logical, direct, and they're going to look at things through their lens and be able to communicate that to you. And you can take that information in that you would normally not ignore, or you wouldn't even think to ask the right question or whatever. And they're your helpmate. They're bringing that, to your attention so you can take that information in and make the best decision for the family.
Sometimes a lot of men will be very direct, and they'll be very direct with their decision making. And women have a very good way of seeing the world in a different paradigm. So she'll say something to you, and then you'll go back after you thought about it,
Mhm.
and you'll give a more compassionate answer, a more compassionate decision
Right.
after speaking with her. And I think that in most cases, that was probably the best way of doing it. So men don't have it all right either.
Right.
No.
But we are the ones that are going to have to, at the end of the day, be held responsible
Exactly.
for the success or the failure of that relationship. Even if it's not our fault, it's still our responsibility. The kids could just go completely out of left field. There's so many of you guys who do such a great job raising kids, and they're still little hellions. They still
It's
get into
true.
drugs. They still are
Yeah.
promiscuous.
Yeah.
They still do the wrong thing. I mean, there are, even take your situation. You were a little rebel back when you were a teenager, and you were raised by a preacher. Your father was literally a man of the church.
Yep.
How could one argue that you couldn't get a better upbringing than that? So even though you do the right things, those kids sometimes don't always follow suit. So it's really, really hard to understand, what's not only the right thing, but at the end of the day, even though it's not your fault, why they might have turned out that way, it's still your responsibility.
Yeah.
So with responsibility comes decision making.
Yeah.
If you're going to hold me responsible for running a business, but you make all the decisions, then I can't be held responsible for the outcomes.
Right.
But if I'm going to be held responsible for the outcomes, then by nature I must be able to make the decisions on my own.
Right.
or the majority of the decisions, or a collaboration of them, or the final say.
Yeah.
And what CEO doesn't ask the advice of the board? They always do,
Absolutely.
but they're the ones that have to go to the podium, stand in front of the mic, and
Deliver
announce to the world,
Yep.
this is where my family's going.
There's got to be a president and a vice president at least.
I'm curious, any of the ladies that are watching this, do you want a man that leads?
That's a whole other.
Do you want to be submissive? And let me ask the guys, do you have what's inside of you to lead? And are you leading in your current situation? A lot of guys have been told that happy wife, happy life. I got to do what makes her happy. And I'm going to tell you, the guys that follow that mantra have some of the most unhappiest women
That's right.
on the face of this earth.
Yep.
It is reverse psychology with women. Women, I love you. But they will be honest. And if you're watching right now, he'll say, he's right. They say they want one thing. They want this, right? How many times have you went through the drive-through and you're like, hey, what do you want to eat? I don't want nothing.
Oh, God.
And you're just sitting there like, I know better. I don't want nothing. You go through McDonald's, you get that large fry, you get to going down the road and you're eating. It's like, those smell good.
Yep.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I should have ordered her some damn fries. I always do it because I know she's going to want it. And I'm like, here, eat your own.
Yeah, I think it's a possession. The fry thing I get in the, all the time, because no matter what I order, she will steal at least one
She
thing
wants
off my plate, and I think it's like a possession thing. I don't know. We joke about it all the time.
I mean,
Doesn't matter what it is.
you know, a woman says she doesn't want you to be clingy, but she also, and then when you try to plan something, then I want you to be spontaneous.
Right.
It's there's always this like other side of the coin. It feels like they want the opposite of what they're actually saying.
That's right.
And it's up to you to find it out as a man.
And,
Right.
you
And it
know,
always changes.
and who's telling women that they should be 50-50? Who's telling women that they should be leaders and dominant and things like that? Other women.
Oh God.
And ladies, we love you. That's why we're sitting
Yeah.
here talking. We're trying to understand you. We're trying to understand you.
That's right.
We want you to understand us as well. I think we learn from each other by having conversations like this.
That's why it's so important for guys to get together and have these kind of conversations.
It has
Because
been a great,
Yeah.
couple days. It has been awesome. The therapy, the broness, the bro time has been awesome. Yeah.
I think what I tell you what, you know, we did it a little bit earlier, you're talking to your sons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know, let's go around. If you was a young man, say you're 18, you're 20, you're going to college or whatever, and you're really about to start going into that dating part where you could find a partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with, but you're looking for Mrs. Right or whatever. What is some of the best advice that you would give to one of these young gentlemen? And what to look
Look
for?
at
in
me. I'm like,
all of you. I mean, you
I've been
pick who
married
wants
3
to start.
times. I may not be the best person.
Well, no, I think
from
that's what
experience.
makes us so important is we know what not to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's one of those, stay focused on your goals, because as you point out, it's actually something I've been telling the boys for years. When you're young, as a young man, no one cares about you. You have zero
value.
value in this world. None. Women at the same age have 100% value because of their, their beauty, those things. But speaking to the men, they have to acquire all of those things, and it's going to take years, decades, a lifetime to get there. And right now, when they do things, they need to have a purpose. They need to have a plan, and not they just need to have a plan. I'm trying going in a bunch of different directions, but they need to have a plan and stick to it. And I'd say, don't let a woman move you from your path. They need to have they have goals, plans, and the woman that deters you from your path is not the one.
You make your path, and you make sure that whoever comes there is there to support you.
Yes.
And make sure that you stay on that path and is there to be a partner, not a dictator.
Yes.
Yeah. I got you.
Even in the Bible, it says that women's job on this planet is to be a helpmate to their husbands.
Wait, not equal?
No, I don't believe the Bible says that.
In Genesis, in the first chapters of Genesis, my translation, I'm sorry, I got it used from the store, and it had the word helpmate on it, and it was like scratched out and all that. I think I got it from a woman. I'm not sure, but yeah, no. In biblically, their job is to be a helpmate. Everyone can look it up.
No one plays a better supportive role than a woman.
Yeah,
and and God made us perfectly imperfect.
Yeah,
they made us equally in need of something that the other brings.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with saying that. And for some reason, we've gotten away from that.
Well, Eric, I mean, when we were talking, the comment you made, which is perfect, is that women, the right woman will make a man better than he could be by himself.
100%.
And that is 110% true. I mean, I'm not the man I am today without my wife.
Dude, I wouldn't be here doing this now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking, for us too, we have a number of stories where the right partners have pushed us
to keep going.
Yeah, to be the best people we can be.
Not because they wanted it.
Right.
But because they knew in our hearts
Right.
it's what we wanted. We were just beat up and broken and
Yep.
having a bad time where we felt like we couldn't go on.
Yeah. They're the ones that support us. And
There's been plenty of times where even you running this channel wanted to quit,
oh yeah.
More times than I can count.
right? You
Oh,
can
yeah.
get inside your head. All these stories are stories of doom and gloom where guys are getting taken advantage of. Guys are being oppressed. Guys are not having
Yeah.
their stories told, and you just want to just give up.
You can't get to everybody.
And who was there convincing you, keeping you on the right path, making sure you wouldn't quit?
And my wife, dude. I mean, like, you guys get to see it here in person, so
Yeah.
I think I can give the visual. I mean, one of the darkest points in my life, and I had done convinced myself I'm done. I can't look at dad talk because, I mean, it was just killing me inside emotionally. You see the worst of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking for a pity party. I chose to do this, and I love doing this. I'll never walk away from it. But you get in your head, I just can't do it anymore. And in that darkest moment, she gets me that painting of my dad standing right here in the studio with me. One of the moments.
Uh-oh.
I'm just
I'm gonna grab it, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
The right woman.
my dad died before I got to show him who I am now.
Right.
And nobody would be more proud of what's been
He knows.
accomplished with dad talk than him. And so whoever painted it made my eyeball go down low, but I still love it. And I've always, said, man, I wish he was around to see this. And then I get this painting with my dad standing there, and she's like, "You're not quitting. I know what this means to you." That's what I've been needing, man. I never had that. And she believes in me.
She does.
To everybody else, my ideas were crazy. Even a lot of my family and closest friends, dad talked today. I just lost my job. You're starting a podcast.
Yeah.
She never once questioned me, dude.
That-
Not once.
And that, ladies, is the right woman for a man. When we talk about we want a woman that's going to support us, that's going to be our helpmate, our partner, all those things, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Makes me want to work harder.
Exactly.
Not just for me, but for her. Like they're invested in me. They're betting on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, even in the moments when it's low, I've never heard anything. So yeah, that's beautiful. We are here because we love women and we all want to be loved. We all want to be in a relationship. Unfortunately, the scales on what we want versus what we get have been very tipped.
Yeah.
They're not here to make us the best versions of ourselves. It seems like we are looked at as retirement funds.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest. You know how many women will date a man that has no looks, nothing else, but he's got money?
Well, they've done the studies. I mean, they've done the surveys, the studies. They would ask, do you want a man that is good looking but makes $70,000 a year or something, which is a reasonable salary. That's not even low, but that's above the national average. Or would you go with a rich man that is ugly? And they pick the old ugly guy every time.
I haven't been doing much posting lately, but I did that one yesterday. Like, men, what is the number one thing you look for in a woman? Is it? I did it on purpose. Like, is it money? Is it looks? Is it loyalty? Put money first, because I knew people were going to be like, money. Nobody wanted money. There was a couple of them that made jokes, like she at least got to have 300,000, bro, and stuff like that. I knew they was joking, but men could care less about that. If you support them, you're loyal, and you build with them. That's all we want.
Well, no disrespect to this area, but a man, a millionaire will marry a waitress. A man will marry
100%.
a waitress or someone that doesn't earn a lot of money, but you don't see the reverse.
Dude, a millionaire will marry a woman that doesn't work at all.
Exactly.
I mean, even a fry cook, we would, or a waitress, we would appreciate it because we know they're out there working.
We would absolutely scoop up a waitress or a girl working fries at McDonald's if she's
Those things.
pretty and feminine and cooperative and a sweetheart.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think most of us fellas that if we did have the money and could do it on our own, would want nothing more than for our wife to be at home, taking care of the home and raising the kids.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we live in this climate right now where you can barely afford groceries and it takes two. I think if we could ever get that back, rebuild the middle class to where men can take care of this and we reassume those roles, I would love nothing more for my wife to be at home taking care of everything and making sure like my kids are being taught the right thing rather than the indoctrination being shoved down their necks at schools.
Oh yeah.
In today's world, you're in a group of guys, and the guys start asking, what do your wives do for a living? When one guy says she's a stay-at-home mom, that's a flex.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a flex.
That was
now.
been my situation definitely my first marriage. Is my, and I probably, people would ask, what does your wife do? And I'm like, oh, stay-at-home mom. And then of course, the women, it was because again, women, that competition there, they would sit there and make all these excuses because that's what they ultimately really wanted, and they couldn't have made a poor decision by going to work and all that. They'll say all the, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted that. But anyway, that was for guys, that's a flex. And my wife can stay at home. And it's funny
That was your
because
first wife?
my first wife, yeah.
You still flexing?
No. After she stole everything I had and all that, yeah.
Sometimes we flex when we shouldn't.
Trigger
still be
moment.
lifted.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
She was at home conniving. I had to keep all that.
Oh God, the stories we could go into. We're trying to keep everything
homemaker
positive.
to homebreaker.
Yeah. My wife, my first wife, she was a stay-at-home wife the entire all 17 years of our marriage, and she was unhappy. But wife number 3 is, it's funny. We all talk to Brandy, but she thinks women that are that want that get out in the workforce and be forced to work on that. She thinks they're all dumb. She's like, I would want nothing more than to be at home.
It's kind of ironic, dude. And I mean, it's not going to be the same for every situation. You talk about number 3. Mine's number 3. There's something with the number 3.
There is, yeah.
3 times a charm.
3 times is a charm.
They did say that.
That got made up for a reason.
We're not paid to say that, by the way. We honestly genuinely mean that.
I will say it for pay if you got some money.
Yeah, maybe expecting or getting sponsors. Some of the 3 or 4.
I know we got so much time before we got to go out there and like stalk Bambi.
Yes,
we got to get a deer. They was a little sick this morning, so we didn't get to go out. And that's when all the
He
deer,
was sick this morning.
That's
I
when
was
all
fine.
the deer was out.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I've learned about you guys, I mean, I've learned some things that I want to unlearn. I mean,
Is that your 4th wish?
that's an inside joke. It's an inside joke.
You'll learn it later.
Yeah, stay tuned.
I've learned about Eric's obsession with Topo Chico. Is it Topo Chico?
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
Guys, seriously, like when I say obsession, I'm not playing.
Cases.
I'm looking at cases over there, and in his house, he has an entire room full.
Yes.
And my doctor said I'm one of the most hydrated people he's seen.
There ain't no damn doubt about that. and it ain't all that, man. I tried it.
Dude,
It's not bad,
I love it.
but I don't see your obsession with it.
It's my thing. Man.
Besides learning about his Topo Chico obsession and his lactose intolerance,
Me?
I'm done learning about these guys.
Me?
Yeah, it's you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Papa John's pizza last night. Does that ring a bell?
Oh God, it rang a lot of bells.
I don't
let me
know.
tell
It
ya.
started with
I feel
me
bad for your kids.
yesterday morning when I heard the like looking up at the moon. It's like Dwayne just farted.
And then he acts like it wasn't him. He acts like he acts like
No, he owned it. He was
that
proud
one I
of it.
owned. Oh yeah,
He was
yeah.
proud of
It was it had a good baritone.
You get embarrassed by a fart?
No.
No.
Oh no. I
think Jimmy is.
he embraces it.
I embrace it. Yeah, funny. I got funny stories on all that, but yeah, no, it had a good baritone. There was no mud drawn. It was
no
a good
deer
day.
the whole day.
And no deer. Unfortunately, I think I scared him away.
Would you say something about spackling the back of your underwear?
After the Papa John's last night. Well, I have if I eat any kind of dairy or whatever, I've got like a window, like a 15-minute window. And yeah, and at 51, my goal is not to spackle the back of my underwear. I talk in visuals to where you can imagine what that.
Oh,
would be
we all
like.
imagine
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I'm
We all
thinking
imagine
about
it.
you ever watched the movie Bad Grandpa?
Oh yeah.
Where he's in the restaurant and his stomach starts hurting and he splatters the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's spackling.
Yeah. That would. Yeah.
You know what, dude? I know we've got about halfway through what we're going to be able to do before we got to leave and go hunt some deer. One thing I do want to talk about, though, and I'm learning through talking to your kids.
Yeah.
Your oldest man, dude. He said something so smart, and I was like, I never would have thought about that. When we was talking about what our generation was, and he was finally like, "Well, you don't know what it's like to be in my generation."
Yeah.
Dude, this really is the first generation with the cell phones and the social media. Like, they were born into it.
Right.
Yeah.
We were probably, halfway, if not a little bit more, into our lives before that got entered.
Yep.
Now that is what they do. If they communicate with each other, it's through
That's
this.
how they do it. Yeah.
And so obviously, yes, there's a lot of a difference, but we're still wanting to, give them stuff off of our experience. What was that like for you guys hearing them talk?
I thought your kids were well spoken.
I thought so too.
I think they're great kids.
I'm gonna cry.
Brandy, good job, Brandy.
That's right.
Good job.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Brandy, being their bonus mom, she has done so much with them. Because again, I'm a guy,
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Are you foreboding?
I'm foreboding. I got to check that
Were
out.
you born a foreboding man?
I think I was born a foreboding man, but yeah, no, I mean, I trained them. Thankfully, I was in a situation where even everything that happened, I still had them 50% of the time, which meant a lot. And I was able to impart a number of things. But no, Brandy has done a lot with them because again, she was able to teach them things I could never begin to.
Right.
Fashion. I think every week we learn what happens when you don't learn fashion.
Yeah.
There's that issue. I'm a very direct talker. She was able to, soften that up, actually teaching them there are other foods out there besides, what I've done. I don't do spices and all that stuff. I have as you can imagine, a very bland palate, which keeps everything somewhat under control. Imagine if I ate spices, what would happen?
No.
Yeah. At 3 Mile Island stuff.
No.
And just experiences and being an awesome bonus mom. She's been with them a lot and has done wonderful things with them.
Awesome, man. I tell you, man, it was really eye opening to me because I'm a father of 4 daughters. Always wanted a son.
God bless you, because
I would never change a
Couldn't
thing.
do it.
I love my babies. I have my problems, but I love my babies. And I can't imagine what it would be like to be growing up in this time with them. We were talking about some of the things that we had a bully problem when we was growing up and stuff like that. I think kids are a little bit more accepting, but there are so many other things. Like, I couldn't imagine to be in their shoes.
If you had a choice, guys, between raising 2 boys or 2 girls in this time, which one would you choose? And why? And why?
I would keep with the girls.
You would? Interesting.
Because I fear for the boys more.
Why?
Me and parenting my daughters, I've had to sit them down after watching, not just what I went through, what all these other guys going through is and let them know there is no man that's out there to serve you. I want you to put into him as much as he puts into you. Most people would teach their daughters he's got to treat you like this. He's got to treat you like this. I'm not going to do that. I want there to be mutual respect. Even though obviously I want my kids to do the best that they can.
Right.
I know that right now that the conversation is slanted. And that if she is a good wife and she gives mutual respect, and hopefully in return, they will receive the same thing. It's the way it should be. Bring back the nuclear family. Am I the greatest example? No, I had my breakups and stuff too.
Yeah.
And that's what I let them know. Hey, I don't want you to go through what I went through, but I think it's much easier. Girls get harder after
10 or 11.
16.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I've had
16.
kind of the benefit of both a little bit. Yeah.
Or pre-teen years and around 16, as they both got their challenges with them. And obviously, but girls love their daddies too. So that is a little bit easy. Most girls are daddy's girls.
Yeah.
They want to come and talk to them. Yeah. And that's when I think that 16, I raised my oldest since she was 1 year old. And then she started dating. Now there's a new man there. I don't need to talk to daddy as much. And it's heartbreaking, because I trained my whole life to be about raising my daughters. And now I don't have to play that role anymore. I'm still playing the role, but it's a different role. Right. That was a hard one for me.
My thing was you meet the boy and you're like, you know exactly what they're thinking.
Yep.
Because you thought the exact same thing.
But they're
It's
not
like,
doing the same things, dude.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
weird
Like,
nowadays.
that was what I always thought. Every time I talk to one of these boys coming up, like, their mind is not at the same place as mine was when I was their age. And I'm going to tell you, theirs is in a lot better shape than what mine was back then. I had a one-track
You had
mind.
certain focuses or one focus.
Yeah, I loved food. It was, you always had to know.
Some of them.
One-track mind.
Yeah.
Fish tacos.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's what it smelled like anyway.
Well, with me, it was always boys wanting to, raise boys. Being able to, teach them the things that I was taught, and have that. But actually, as you mentioned it, and I started kind of questioning it with what boys are subject to today, and knowing all those realities.
Right.
I am very fearful because any woman can make any claim against a boy is automatically believed.
Exactly.
Any girl could ruin my son's lives.
Exactly.
Just because they felt like it. And I've heard girls talking about that as a joke. Oh, that person's not going to date me. I don't like him. You know what? I'm going to say he did something to me and ruin his entire life. And they're okay with it. They're laughing about it.
Here's one of the questions all you dads with daughters we need to be asking ourselves. I ask you guys, if you had a daughter and you found out she was the one that was doing these toxic things in the relationship and making false allegations, what do you do?
I'd be very mad. There'd be a lot of coaching moments.
How do you treat the guy?
As a victim,
I agree. Too many people want to take up for their kids no matter what, and there's just no ownership there. And I know you love your kids no matter what, but if you love your kids, you give them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, no bedtime stories. That's one of the big things. I mean, and I'm in a different situation because I have a bonus daughter that, I've had her since 10 or 11, and she's, now 19. And it was weird because, again, just I had never been around girls. So trying to do that, like we would have times where she would just start crying for no reason, or I'd say something that my boys would have zero issue with, and she'd start crying. And I naively would go to Brandy and go, why is she crying? And she's like, I don't know. She's a girl. And I'm like, well, you're a girl.
Right.
They cry for all these weird different reasons, or, do different things. And yeah, the teenage years for her, very tumultuous. And that is a word. I even pronounced it correctly, just throwing it out there. But
congrats.
Yeah, do what?
Congratulations.
I figured I'd, get my average up there. But there was a lot of, and there were outside factors with, her biological father and things like that. But a lot of, because I was the authority figure in the house, because that's the way I set the house up.
Right.
And I learned from my previous mistakes of saying, partnership and we're going to be equals and all that. I'm like, no. And, in the house, in this house, the way it's going to be is I'm at the top and everything else is in line. I'll hear what you have to say, but it's going to get filtered through the way it needs to be done. And I'll make decisions that's best for the family, because that's how men think. We are going to do what's best for the family. And that's actually one of the differences between men and women is men will think what's going to be the best for your family. Women will think what is the best for them.
And so,
That's
ladies, you need to hear this. If you want a dad to do his best job as a dad, you need to back him up.
Yes.
And then one of the hardest things is being in a blended family is you come in and you try, I want you to treat them just like your kids. Okay. Well, one, that's kind of impossible. It's not my kid, but I will treat them with respect.
Right.
And I'm here to back you up, but you need to back me up.
Right.
You want me to be the person that lays down the ground rules?
Yep.
But then when I go to do it, don't tell me I'm being too hard on them. Yes, I'm being hard on them. They're boys. They're girls. They're kids. They need somebody to be hard on them.
Yeah.
Life's hard. And if they don't do the right things, they're going to face consequences. Let him be a father.
I'm going to go third big word for the day, biblical. Do not usurp his authority. I love that word. Do not usurp means do not override him, go behind his back. Don't say, oh, you don't have to listen to dad or your stepdad or whatever. Do not do that.
Sounds
You're
like
causing so much damage. Huh?
Sounds like a soup, a usurp soup.
Yeah. I looked up the King's English on that one. Usurp just has that it factor in the word. And, I'll lay it all out there. I've had situations where my authority has been usurped. It did not turn out well for all involved.
Yeah.
I think what's so good too, man, is having the big show and talking about these conversations. Again, me and you we didn't have the greatest track record and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But listening to this
It was
guy
fun tries.
talking to the young guys, about
Oh, yeah.
the little red flags, and a lot of people would hear it and might not understand it. As somebody that went through it, I understand it.
Yeah.
I really do, man.
And there's stuff they're not going to learn in school.
No, nobody is.
Yeah, they need to have a class like dating 101, or these are the red flags to look out. Here's the green flags to look out for. I mean, David peered it back. The one thing I've always said, all women, rabbit ears around, all women are crazy. If they can admit that they are crazy and that acknowledge it and own that, and of course apologize for it when they do it, that's a keeper.
Just got to thinking about something. How far are we away from the 1 year anniversary of Big Show?
February?
Was it February?
14th?
No, I don't think
Was it a Valentine's Day special?
No, it was not. No.
Dude, we're gonna have a Fourth Wish reunion that day.
Maybe that. Yeah.
That's when we're gonna tell you what that means.
Yeah. It's
That's there you go. You
That's
got
a-
a date,
That's
dude.
the day.
yeah, one of the good things about hanging out with the guys and getting personal is sometimes some people make statements that
They wish they could unmake.
they later regret.
Yes.
Yes.
Mistakes were made.
Where's it? Mistakes were
Mistakes
made.
were made. We were talking about things we've done in the past. I shared a secret. Well, it wasn't really a secret, but
Yeah.
a story.
Right.
I underestimated the brutality that I would face and the razzing.
Yes.
And to be honest, the bullying. Downright bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are boys
yeah.
on that topic. It's some good stuff, but
I'm unapologetic, dude. So, if your friends aren't razzing you, especially guys, they don't love you.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? We can do it.
All I'm
and
saying
we
is you guys
respect
must really like me because
Oh,
you
yeah.
haven't stopped.
uh-oh.
They've
We love
they've
you so
they've
much.
made memes already. They've made memes about me that and I said go ahead and just post them. They're waiting for the right timing.
Right.
That's right.
So
Well, guys,
February, I guess.
Patience is a virtue.
Yeah, areas that we, if we're gonna like razz you and do it, we're gonna like sync up servers and satellites and make sure that exacts just the massive, huge amount of damage that is.
Jimmy's thinking about damage
Oh, my
control
God.
right now. Honestly, it's a part of your story. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Dude, we all got stuff. I mean, especially going back and looking at our childhood pictures, man.
Oh
That
God.
that can be brutal sometimes. But as I was sitting back the other day, Jimmy, just like we had you on the show that one time telling parts of your story.
Yeah.
Man, your story goes deep, bro. There's so many things that, like, when you guys hear what this man's been through, it's gonna blow your mind.
we've all been through some shit, haven't we?
We have.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know what? Everybody's got a story to tell. We've all had
Yeah.
a different journey. And the one thing that I love that's beautiful about being able to do what we're doing right now, men rarely have a place to do what we've been doing this weekend.
Yeah,
And it feels good
it's been
to be around
therapy.
people that understand each other. And
That's why
Need
Dad
to do
Talk
more.
Today support group is such an important thing. That's a place you can go,
Yep.
tell your story, be around other people that have experienced similar or the same things or never experienced it, whatever. And you can go there and talk and get help and get therapy. But yeah, I mean, again, I thank you publicly. I thank you again. Thank you for inviting the boys and I out for this because it's been something else. I mean, sitting up in that stand just alone with your thoughts and all that. I mean, you've mentioned it.
it's what I do to reset.
Yeah, it's been something, and being around other guys that you
Yeah.
can't stress that enough. Being around other guys that get you,
For both.
foreboding other guy or foreboding other men here. That almost sounds kind of weird.
Foreboding other men.
That just came off.
That did not sound right.
That
Yeah, it did
sounds
not.
awful.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna look that up after the show. And
I was not foreboded this weekend. I just
Yeah,
wanted you to
not
know.
foreboded. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No one foreboded me.
yeah, just being out and getting just hanging out and and we have the older and the younger generation really that are
Yeah.
and that was one of actually that was as their dad was one of my things I wanted because I've been inoculating them for years. But also hearing, the same things from other people and then having them experience other people talking back and forth and having you guys listen to the younger generation and go, oh, okay. Your experiences are similar, different and all that. And just having all that communication. It's been great.
So what has it meant to you as a father to have your boys here to do that with, to hunt?
You're gonna make me cry, aren't you?
That has to be awesome.
You're gonna.
I mean, no lie.
No, it's serious. Yeah,
I've daydreamed about having children and doing
that was
this.
my next question, and that one gets maybe even deeper.
It's been a lifelong dream. I've had, I'll say, two huge dreams with my boys. One of them was hunting, because my dad took me hunting, and I'll never forget it.
They say men are afraid to express their emotions. We've been expressing our emotions all weekend. We're selective of who we let hear them because
Yeah.
they choose against you. You know, but I know this big guy that I got to the foreboding, this foreboding man right here.
I'm gonna Google that.
But what would it have meant?
Mistakes
to you?
were made.
What would it have meant
Let's
to you,
see.
Jimmy, to be able to have that experience with your dad?
Yeah, I always knew that I would have been a daddy's boy more than a mama's boy. No disrespect to my mother. I love
Yeah.
my mother. But I definitely gravitate towards men more than I do a softer, come on, baby, get up and let me wipe that boo-boo kind of a personality.
Do you think that attraction to like wanting to be around masculinity and stuff came from the absence of having that growing
Yeah,
up?
yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely do. I've daydreamed so many times about having a father and doing little things like this, you know,
Yeah.
playing football, looking up at the stand, seeing him there, getting his words of wisdom, using him as a sounding board, falling down and telling him what I did. But most importantly, what I think a lot of men love or yearn for is one thing I missed. Many of you guys probably missed it too, is just looking at your father and him looking back at you and telling him that he's proud of you. I never got that. And I've always wanted that. I've always wanted him to tell me he was proud.
I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank
I'm
you.
not your daddy, but I am definitely proud of you, man.
Yeah.
You have accomplished some great things, and you help a lot of people.
I try.
And I understood, dude, it's the same thing with the painting. You know, he's not here, but every child wants that from their dad.
Oh,
And
yeah.
to know that there's
You were just
people-
talking about that just yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, dude, everybody. Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing. My dad was one of those guys that no matter what his kids did, he would brag on them like they were the best. And so I could only imagine meeting presidents and doing some of the stuff that I did. You wouldn't be able to tell him anything.
When your father was alive, you know, you were more of the rebel. You were going against some of his teachings, you know,
Yep.
chasing girls, chasing pleasures,
Well, no, I mean, so
chasing bulls,
I had been married. Nah.
foreboding men.
Yeah, for voting men.
Which, by the way,
That was never really my
I
thing.
concur that. Yeah.
Is it a word?
Fear, it is. It's a word. Fearful apprehension, the feeling that something bad will happen.
Oh,
The sense of foreboding. She read the note. Would be an example.
So Jimmy is the sense of something that will happen. Fear.
you keep messing with me about this fourth wish shit. Something's bad's gonna happen.
Maybe that was it. Subconsciously, I knew it was going to go down.
Let me tell you, I'm foreboding because I know something's bad gonna happen to me. Because whenever the two of you coming together,
Wonder Twin powers
oh my
activate.
gosh, can you imagine? I've got a content creator and a guy who has all the hookups and the availability putting over the world.
Oh, we were already talking about that last
Then
night.
Then I've got IT genius over here. Between the two of them, I'm just royally effed.
Yes, you are.
I'm royally effed.
It's true.
So let me ask you guys a question.
All right.
You guys have pictures of Fourth Wish. You only have like 3, but there are videotapes out there.
Yes.
Videotapes that you guys want to get your grubby little evil hands on.
Yes.
How does it feel knowing that I have a box at home? On that box is written in large, bold marker, Fourth Wish. How bad do you guys want to see the contents of that? I've got VHS tapes. A Fourth Wish.
February.
I'm trying to find out like when your flight leaves and how I can.
And you
make
guys
it
will
to
never,
where
ever get a chance to see that box.
I don't.
How's that make you feel?
I think there is something.
I mean,
about
be
you
honest
that
with it.
really. I think you actually have a sense of pride with the Fourth
I think
Wish,
he
dude.
does.
That's why it gets to you when we make the memes and stuff. I think that's actually.
It was a great
highlight.
time in my life and you're shitting on it.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue, Jimmy, because I love you. I love you, man. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, this is what guys do. This is.
You're gonna get the stuff on me, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But no, we will see it February.
Nope.
Y'all beg Jimmy. You want to see the Fourth Wish?
You should like.
When you
live-
see it.
I'm never inviting you to my house. And if I do, I'm going to open up a large safety deposit box.
Oh no. I could probably make it to your place in maybe 16, 17 hours. So yeah, I might just do a end run.
You know, I
Damn it.
wanted
And
to-
you have my address too.
Exactly.
Shit. I did want to touch on something real quick, Jimmy. You had said, you know, like being the rebellious and stuff,
Yeah.
like with my dad. I had turned my life around, and I had gotten sober like 3 years prior. I told you guys about my past and stuff. And I was a family man. A lot of the struggles that I was having with substance abuse came from I was in a pretty out there marriage. All
Yeah.
right. So, but I had turned it around, but I was still on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like I always knew what I could be, but it was almost like rebuilding at age, 27, 28. And I'd have just liked to have seen it. One of my things is, and you guys know how much I've been spending with my father-in-law.
Mhm.
I love the older generation. And
Yeah,
I
me too.
love being able to take care of them.
Yeah.
I didn't get the chance with him.
Yeah.
And that will, you know what? Your parents take care of you. At some point, you help take care of your parents. I got to take him to his last hospital visit, and push him around in a wheelchair and stuff like that. But 63, man, I just, and that's something you never get back. So even though I had turned it around, I wasn't quite the hellion that I was, then. Yeah, it's on my desk. I mean, when I could have made a podcast about anything. It's not just about me being a dad to my girls and parental alienation and stuff. It's I've said, and I'm not saying all the time, but I get people who say that, I say some wise statements on here. It came from him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. None of the
It came
stuff I
from
have is
him.
original.
It's not me
Yeah.
saying I'm smart. I know who my dad was.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have the father in the house.
It is, man. I mean, dads bring something to the table. I look back now as a kid, I gave my dad a hard time, blaming him for everything.
Yeah.
If I wanted something, I went to mama. If I got in trouble most of the time, he was the one that was going to lay the law down. Love you, mama, but you always tried to overrule him. I look back now, and I was upset at him back then. He was right.
Yeah.
I was telling you when he died, I was calling him more than anybody. I was calling him 6-8 times a day. And when I called my dad, it usually ended up with me hanging up the phone because I didn't like what he was saying to me.
Yep.
A couple of hours later, I called him back. My dad was telling me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear.
Well, that's
And
what,
even though it upset me, I did want to hear my dad.
Right.
And I use it every day.
that's what Jimmy was talking about earlier when we were talking, though, is that guys will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you're fat,
Yep.
you fat. You're not what is it? I don't know what the our
BBW,
BBW. There you go.
big, big, bold,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, you can't be
If
Gorlock.
your shoes look like Cousin Eddie.
That was
Man, those shoes are fresh.
yeah.
I'm gonna wear.
laying all
I'm gonna wear
kinds
these
of
shoes.
inside jokes down.
I bought some awesome white shoes, and I'm gonna wear them. I'm gonna wear them on an episode of the Big Show, and you guys can tell me if you guys think they're fresh.
Really nice.
This guy,
Yeah, real nice,
real
Clark.
nice, Clark.
he thinks they're Uncle Eddie's.
It was like within 10 seconds. Like you showed the pic.
Now Dwayne started that one. I've just ran with it.
That's true. That's true.
It's true.
I thought they were the Uncle Eddie shoes.
Listen, I'm not taking insults from a guy who knows no fashion. I'm not doing it.
The camouflage, though, man.
He's
We couldn't get Jimmy to get in camouflage.
I'm not doing it. I don't care.
What's wrong with camouflage?
I don't care if the deer see me. At least they won't see me looking like that.
Yeah, so we're all in camo and he's in like all black and
I wore black because you can't see me. It's dark. We were out there before the sun even came up.
yeah.
I'm usually not awake at that time. I'm in a box with a peephole like this big.
It's not the first time you've had a hole in a wall like that.
This hole's a little bit kind of wide. and awful.
Looking through it.
It was a little foreboding.
Oh god.
It fit that time.
Oh,
It
my
did.
God.
Let's talk about the word.
Yeah.
The word,
not the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And we were out there for hours.
Yes, we
Saw
were.
no deer.
2 hours.
Yeah. And
It
as
seemed
soon as,
like-
First time
it's-
hunting.
It seemed forever.
And it's in the rut. We're supposed to be out there all day, man.
yeah. Well, then as soon as we leave last night, what 2, 3, 4, 5?
Well, it's called hunting. If it was
Not
that easy, it
shooting.
would be called deer shooting.
That's true. Fair.
We
Fair.
got to stalk it, man. That's the thing. It's the pursuit. A deer wants to be pursued just like a woman.
Yeah.
That is a stupid comparison, but I'm just saying.
Well, there's some truth to it because those
There
deer
is.
those deers are out right now because they're chasing deer tail.
Yep.
Well,
And just like us, the tail will be the death of them.
that's dude.
Yep.
So these I've got bucks on those cameras you won't see any other time until they come chasing after a woman.
Right.
They become mature, they become these big males because they keep themselves out of trouble. And then when that piece of tail comes by, he's right behind it, and
They
that's
throw it
how he
all out
ends
the
up getting
window.
killed. And that's, do you know how many men have threw away everything in their life over a piece of tail? Man?
So true.
Very metaphorical.
We are the weakest thing when it comes to that one thing, and we've got to learn how to get out of that. It's a kryptonite.
It is the kryptonite.
Well,
Understand why it's a kryptonite.
Femininity is the kryptonite of masculinity. Men will. I mean, you'll make a masculine man fall to his knees if she is feminine and cute and petite. And I mean, if you found a feminine woman in need of help, and she's not even your girl, she's not even your wife, you'll go and you'll risk your life to protect her.
Yeah,
you'll risk your life to protect her. Men have done it a million times.
Dude, I saw one of the most boss moves the other day. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says. He's got a lot of good stuff.
Who's
Andrew
that?
Tate,
Yeah.
where I think he was at a basketball arena, and the lady came up trying to hit on him. He's like, "Go home."
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
He didn't even pay attention to it
I
at all.
saw that one.
Go home. That some men need to start doing that.
That's top G.
It was, dude, because a lot of men would have been kryptonite right there. It's like, oh yeah, let me talk to you, and then you get sucked right into it. Go home.
Yeah.
If somebody's coming after you that strong, it might look nice, dude. But I mean, we got to start looking what's on the inside, what's for your future, and making better choices, man.
We do.
I got a question because it's actually something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Okay, so as a father, what is your biggest fear for your children? I guess with respect to you, and I guess I'll just start out with what mine is. My biggest thing was the day that I oh boy, hold on, that I realized my dad was human. He was mortal.
That was the day he died for me.
Yeah, that was. And you guys, I mean, thankfully, it hasn't been on air yet, but I've got some increasing medical things going on. My hip's blown out, and I've had some other stuff. But I guess have my kids realize I'm not going to be around.
Yeah. That would be my biggest fear if I had kids is, I remember dating someone, I forget who it was, but she asked me, she mentioned something about being afraid of something. And I looked her in the face and I was honest. And I said, I'm not afraid of nothing. There's not anything on this planet that makes me afraid except for one thing. And she says, what's that? I said, it's the only thing that keeps me up at night. It's the only nightmare. And I've had nightmares about all kinds of shit. 2-story dinosaur looking creatures and everyone's running and screaming. And I'm the first one trying to think of how I can kill that thing. That's literally how my brain works. But there's one thing that keeps me up at night.
Somebody finding those 4 Twitch tapes.
Someone finding that box.
Sorry.
Me going to that second bedroom in the closet where it lays. The second bedroom.
I'll finish it, dude. I was interested. It was too great of a set.
And I looked there and there's nothing but an empty space. You can see the dust around it and where the clean spot where the 4th wish box was.
All right.
And all there is a note left. And it says Dwayne and Eric was here. That's my biggest fear because I know my world's about to come crumbling down.
Yes, it is.
No, but my biggest fear is not being able to save the people that I love. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So, being something bad happening to someone that I love and me not being around to be able to protect them. That's the only thing I'm worried about. If I had kids, I would be riddled in fear. I don't know how you guys do it. Having children and releasing them into this godforsaken shithole we call world.
Yeah.
Where people are looking after themselves. They're looking to do damage and hurt and steal and cheat and take advantage. How can you sleep at night without wondering if you've prepared them the best you can?
I mean, sometimes you don't. but at some point in time, you got to say, I've done what I can. That is one of my biggest fears would be my kids having to live in this world without me.
Yep.
But at the same time, I can't say that's my biggest fear. You don't want to be driven by fear. I look back at those times when I was going through challenges and it felt like my family was breaking up. You know, my house that was once filled with, you know, all of my kids, and it was a nuclear family.
Yeah.
The best part of it could be at that point in time. And then not long after that, walking into that bedroom and that house and nobody's there. Kids are at their mom's. I am lonely.
First time.
I have no money. Yeah. And then that's when it hits. My biggest fear is my kids making some of the same choices as me.
That's why we're so hard to inoculate them. I mean, I come off a certain way, but I'm like, I want
they
them to
don't
have the
get
best
it.
life, and they don't get it.
And they
Neither
don't
did
get
I.
it, man.
Neither did I. My dad warned me about my first wife, and I was like an idiot.
I've had times where, you know, it made my kids not really like me at all because they wanted something and I knew better and I had to be dad. And they wanted me to be a friend and give them what they wanted. And I stayed dad, dude.
Do you think women feel the same way?
No.
They can't because
No.
because if women felt the same way, then they would never usurp.
There we go.
Thank you. Your authority whenever you're trying to teach your kids these lifelong lessons that will keep them from having bad things happen to them.
You think it's bad when they're in the household? Wait until you're not married to them anymore.
Oh
Oh,
gosh, how do you
God.
do it?
That's when they usurp everything.
On purpose.
Anything that a dad does that tries to teach a kid, they will purposely try to make it look like everything you say is wrong. Everything you do is bad.
Yep.
And the kid gets what they want in the process. I'll buy you what you want. You get to go do what you want.
I'll give you your
And the
driver's
kid is
license.
going to run towards the glitter. And now dad's over here. I don't want, you know, I still got to give you the structure. I can't look away. And then you become the bad guy. That is what so many of these men are going through right now, me included.
Well,
Me
and then
included.
at best, you know, you become a weekend warrior, so you get the 2 days every couple weeks. How much can you really teach them at a time? And then you're trying to be disciplinarian, and you're going to spend your entire time grounding them or, you know, teaching them those lessons. You've already lost so much time. That's why you become a Disneyland dad.
Yeah.
You know,
Or so many become that way.
don't talk about my story much. But like with my kids, you know, when they was in the house with me, there was times I don't want to go to mom's. I don't want to go to mom's. You're going. It's your mom. I don't agree with everything they do. They are. When the tables got turned, there's been times I can't even tell you when I'm talking to my kids.
Weird how that works.
It's weird when it gets turned the other way around.
All right.
So would they do the same thing? No. Some of them don't have a heart.
What goes?
I hate to say it, a lot of them was in another relationship before they got out of it with
Well,
you.
yeah.
So
pretty much
you
all
were
the time.
old news, and now I've got to make him look bad to justify what I did.
Well, what Jimmy was talking about is that, you know, men think 1, 5, 10, 20 years down the road and what's going to be good for the family and all that. And women think emotionally and everything about what's that immediate gratification, like a 5-year-old. I know it sounds rude, and send your hate mail to me, put your comments in, whatever, but
No, it's true, dude.
That's-
So I hear so many men saying, like my ex, she's still a kid. She's still a kid.
Yeah.
There you go. They try to be a friend.
and kids don't need a friend. They need
They
a
don't need a
parent.
friend. They need a parent.
They don't
Man.
need a damn friend.
Look at what I said. I would hang up on my dad, 7, 8 times a day, and I still kept calling. I needed my dad.
You know, one of the best podcasts we've done is the one on the golden uterus. Remember that
The
one?
golden uterus. Yep.
If you guys haven't seen that one, take a look. We did it about 3 months ago.
Yeah. 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great podcast about how women act when they're separated from the father and how they treat their kids as nothing more than an extension of ammunition to fight the battles for them.
They will do that in a heartbeat. They don't think strategically or long term or what's in the best interest of the child. I know we, of course, throw that around all the time, but they're thinking, how can I destroy their ex-husband or ex-boyfriend? What can I do? False allegations, saying that teaching the child or having the child listen to a false story about how the father did something inappropriate with the child, and they know it's complete BS. But it'll get them an extra $200 a month in child support, or get them 100% custody, or get the guy thrown in jail, or all those things. They don't care. And I've heard in different conversations women talking about certain things. Like I remember one conversation, I won't say the names, but the person was upset, and the girl said, "Well, go sleep with his best friend." She was upset that her boyfriend wasn't performing the way she wanted him to. He wasn't knuckling under for some whatever. And she's like, "That's how you destroy him."
I swear, I'm not convinced that there's anything as there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, but I am dead set.
Yeah.
It's a lack of masculinity.
Yeah, but there is absolute toxic femininity.
Definitely.
No doubt
And it's
about
got to
it.
change. It's got to change. And women, men need to be men. Women need to be women. They need to get into that role and start teaching the younger generation good things.
I see some toxicity with men. I wouldn't. It's not the traditional toxic masculinity like they're trying to make it out to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like right now, this is very healthy masculinity. I mean, I love what we've been doing this whole weekend. You go into a hunting forum, though, man. The guy has always shot the smallest deer. No matter, it could be the most gigantic deer. The guys are going to pick on him. It's always going to be you used the wrong gun. You got the smaller gun. It's some of that. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Chill out. Yeah.
So critical.
And what I do, the toxicity, and it's not just men, it's everybody, social media. Like I see people talking about like how Tyson Fury can't fight. He's the freaking undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. He would knock your head off, guys.
Yeah.
And you are a Facebook commenter. Yes, Ngannou gave him a good fight, but Ngannou has like the strongest punch ever recorded to man. Of course, I would hope he would have some power, but they talk about the best of the best out there like they're nothing.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is like a false sense of pride for men that if I talk bad about you, it makes me look good.
That sounds like women, though.
Huh?
That's what women do. They always
yeah.
When was the last time you heard a woman genuinely, see some other woman in a nice dress and honestly be, "Oh, you look fantastic," and not talk smack about her behind her back?
Happens all the time.
I mean,
Well, the one thing though is, like I said, a lot of these women can't stand each other, but when they come together for a common cause,
oh god,
They rally together,
they
don't they?
will fill those streets out there. Could you imagine what would happen if men did that? Most of them are at work,
most of them are working,
but there is many times they could show
and
up.
afraid.
I have to say that there is many times they could show up.
Yeah,
we got to organize better. We definitely got to organize better.
2024.
I tell you what, we need to organize them woods because I have a feeling them deer are about to be moving, fellas.
There's
Yeah.
a few things I've learned about being in the woods. Number one, way more stars in the sky. Now, I know that the stars in the sky didn't multiply from the woods. It's because out here, there's no lights.
No pollution.
There's no pollution. There's no
Yeah.
lights of the city.
Well, some pollution.
It looks like there's
Temporary.
twice as much stars in the sky from where I live.
Mhm.
The second thing, country guys, you have weapons everywhere. There's always a weapon.
ARs.
They hand them to you.
There's
They're all
rifles and
unloaded.
guns.
All unloaded.
They're all safely
very-
unloaded, but Lord have mercy, like everywhere.
We're each ranged Nazis.
It's
in our own
freaking
way,
awesome.
Don't mess with dad talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Just a good old boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your dog is half pit bull, half something.
I don't know what the other half is. He
half
looks mostly
baby.
pit.
I mean,
He's a baby.
he is a little sweetheart.
He's got baby eyes.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I walked from the house to the studio to do the show here just now, and your dog is on the second story of some little platform out there. I don't know. Your dog is like, I
It looks
had
like
to
a
pet
lion
him
sitting up
like
there.
this.
Yeah.
How does he get up there?
No, there's steps on the back. So
There's a ladder?
There's letters.
yeah, no, there's steps. There's that you can
Oh.
climb up. Now, several years ago, my ex had a son whose dad died in an accident, and the kid always said he wanted a tree house. I called myself going to build him a tree house. That relationship didn't last, but
That was the beginnings of the treehouse?
that was the beginnings of the tree house.
Well, the dog seems to love it.
I thought that I could build a tree house for cheap, and then I bought the platform and just the lumber alone is like, yep, I gotta quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Jeez, dude. And that was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you had to build it now?
With all the wood, the
Oh my
wood shortage
God,
and all
dude.
that. Yeah, no.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, there's something good about look, obviously we want you to tune into the show. Sometimes, guys, you got to unplug, get out somewhere where we've got a very busy world. There's all these different things fighting for our attention. Get around some men where you can get away from this and do what we're doing right here in person, and get out in the woods, whatever it is, whatever hobby it is, and just, like I said, unplug. It's good for our mental health. There is a reason why men are deleting themselves at rates that we've never seen. Okay. They haven't learned how to take the break inside of here, man. You can't have this thing going 24/7, and you definitely can't have it going 24/7 in the red pill world or family court and stuff like that. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
I'm only 24. Look how I look. I mean,
life's been rough.
Life's been very rough.
I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of foreboding.
I'm going to pay for that. You mess up one word.
But guys, he's right though. Please stop sitting at home by yourself. Yeah. So many of you guys don't even leave the house. You go from work to the house and you're all alone. And the only outside world that you get is on your phone, and that's nothing but doom and gloom. You can't turn on the TV without seeing doom and gloom. You can't turn on the internet without seeing the worst of idiots out there. All it's doing is making you jaded, guys.
Except for 6 p.m. Central's on Sunday.
That's when the big show plays.
Right.
That's good TV right there.
But you remember that feeling that I was talking about going in this empty house that was once full? I think all these relationship problems that we're talking about and getting with the wrong person probably came out of loneliness.
Oh, yeah.
We had the blinders on. Loneliness sucks, dude. Loneliness sucks.
Everybody can be hit with that. Doesn't matter who you are.
But you can start learning how to really appreciate your own time and your off time, right? I mean, dude, they're near the end before I got with Tina. I was starting to get used to it. I hated single life at first. But then I was like, I'm a man of my own house. I do what I want, I love my life now. It's not what I'm saying, but
also, a woman makes a house a home. I mean, Jimmy, you said that earlier, and it's 100% true. I mean, I had a house, but when Brandy came in and we got together, she made it a home, and she has made it, me and that house, a million times better than I could have done on my own. That's your fuzzy math. A man is 1 + 1 = 2. A woman is 1 + 1 = 3 or more. I mean, you can multiply, and that's why it's important to find the right woman. Multiply versus destroy. I don't know what the math you used there, but it was destroy.
So I say that, when you bring 2 or 3 guys together, right? The 3 of us could build a tree house. We could build a house. That would just be a bunch of 4 walls. But a woman, if we inserted a woman, she could make the 4 of us into a family. She could make that house into a home. Men are adders and subtractors. We add and subtract. 2 men equal 1. 1 + 1 = 2 with men. But women, they are the multipliers, but they are also the dividers. If you get the wrong woman, she will make you half the man that you were. So they are so powerful in the sense that God made them so special, so euphoric that they can be the ultimate multiplier.
Can make home a prison.
But if you pick the wrong one,
you make home a prison.
She will divide you as a man. She'll divide your finances.
She'll divide your relationships with everybody you know.
She'll divide your heart. She'll divide your time with your children. She'll divide your sanity. Okay. Women can either multiply or divide your years on this planet.
Tell you what, she ain't going to divide my deer jerky.
Well,
I said that for Jimmy to give a plug. When do we hear the big show every week?
We hear the big show every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're in Eastern Standard Time now. Exclusively only on Dad Talk Today channel. No other channel can you see the big show. And we talk about life. We talk about masculinity. We talk about dating. We talk about exercise. What makes a man, a little bit of everything. And guys, Eric's working on some really special things where we're going to be bringing you a lot more content. Dwayne's going to be kicking off his first show ever. Well, second show, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
But so we got a lot of things coming in 2024. We want you guys to, be happy, healthy. We want you to love life. We want you to wake up happy every day. And so we're just trying to give a sounding board to guys to let you guys know that we hear you, we understand you, we care about you, and we're proud of you guys. So for what it's worth, don't make work and staying home the only things that you do every single day. Get out there, get with your friends, call that friend that you haven't talked to in 10 years. Call him. He's been waiting for you to call him. Go on a golfing trip with the guys. Go on a hunting trip with the guys. Find new friends and do something, but stop staying in the house. And whenever you are, or you have to stay in the house, then surround yourself with positive content. Get away from the news, get away from some other stuff. Again, Dad Talk Today is a great form, a great way of, looking and just getting around other guys, a support group, and realizing, if nothing else, that you're not alone out there, because you're not. Your situation, although it hurts, it's not special. We've been through it. And there's a solace knowing that you're not the only one. It's not a bad thing that you're not the only one. It's a good thing. And just sharing your story or hearing someone else share theirs helps you push through this shithole we call life sometimes.
Could be somebody else's survival guide.
Yeah. There was a guy on the support group just 2 days ago that said, shoot me a DM. I need someone to talk to.
It's all day long, man.
It's crazy. You could tell that he was at his wit's end. I hope that guy got help. It looked like a lot of people were rushing to his aid. Guys, don't do something hasty. Don't make decisions off of emotions. You're not alone. And yes, people do care for you. Your kids, you may not have the relationship you would want with your kids right now. You may not have the woman of your dreams right now. But again, you are worth something. This world is a better place with you being in it, and you need to hear that. And you want to know what? We're proud of you. We're proud of you fighting every day. We want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of The Big Show. My host today, Eric Carroll and Dwayne Ward, two good friends of yours, two good friends of mine. We want you guys to be the best version of yourself that you can be. The Big Show podcast is here every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until next week, we'll see you guys. Have a great week. And until then, we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Check out fourthwish.com.